going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. Wow, that was horrible. Welcome back to yet another episode of Breakfast with Perkins. I'm not even going to cut that out. Let's leave it in. I am, of course, your host, Perkins. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone had a phenomenal weekend. Hope your work... Wow. Apparently talking is just optional at this point. The brain's not functioning, all this stuff like that. You know, and that's fine. I'm completely cool with that. But, yeah, hope everyone's work week is going good and all that good stuff. I do want to give a quick shout out to Lando Norris of the McLaren team for F1 for getting his first win. Now, you guys know me. I'm Red Bull, Max Verstappen, Chico Perez till I die. But if there was anyone I would want to win that wasn't part of Red Bull, I'm glad it was Lando Norris because he deserves it. And he's just a good guy. He's just an all-around good guy, so I got no problems with him winning it. Also, I do want to give another shout out to the people. For those that don't know, in the non-gaming world, they released an update for Fallout. And it fucked up a lot of mods and stuff like that. So the people have been working round the clock to get these mods to be compatible with the new update. And so I stopped playing Fallout for a week. I know, I almost died. I stopped playing Fallout for about a week until they figure it out and fix it, and they got it fixed as of a couple days ago, so I'm back playing Fallout. Everything works good, everything's fine. Why I'm so excited to play a game that I've already sunk like 1,200, 1,300 hours into, I don't know, but you know, that's either here nor there. I do want to go into something that's been irritating the fuck out of me. Here's my thing. Anyone that knows me from what I post on Facebook, whatever it is, I will follow groups and stuff that irritate me. Intentionally follow these groups or pages that just, because I know it's going to irritate me, but it gives me content, I guess. It gives me something to think about. And I saw another one. You'll remember a while back I talked about a group of girls. I forget what they're, plus size park hoppers. And their whole thing is they're a group of big chicks and they do things, and their whole spiel is, have you ever wished you could fit inside the zipper but didn't know if you were too fucking heavy? Hi guys, welcome to Park Size. And then they go into all this shit about, you know, how fat can you be before you can't fit in the shit anymore. And they had one video a while back about airplane seats, which, okay. Yeah, you can't fit into an airplane seat. Like, that sucks. I mean, those seats aren't the most comfortable and they're not even made for a normal human. But, you know, I fit into them and I don't, you know, hate it exactly. They released another video about, hey, guys, have you ever wondered if you're going to fit into the bed at the hotel? Now, if you're tall, I get it. Like, I'm 5'9.5". 5'9 3/4", we'll round up to 5'10". And my feet hang off a queen bed. And I'm not that tall at all. But width-wise, now if I'm spilling off the side of a fucking bed, there's a problem there. That's an issue. I don't need to be accommodated for it. I don't need to be, I really wish they would think about me when they're making beds. No, you need to lose weight. I know I always talk about this. I try not to dwell on it, but here I am dwelling on it, and it's fine. I don't get it. At what point do you look at yourself and go, maybe I'm the issue. Maybe I should lose some weight. Maybe I should, maybe not eat. And then, oh my God, parking lot that for a second. There's another woman. I'll put up a clip of her if I can find it. Someone brought up a very good point in these videos. Disneyland adults, like the adults, no kids, they're not going with their families, but they're going with their friends. It's just them and their friends, or it's just a single person. A lot of the time, the Disney adults, the chicks, are usually really obese. Just something that they pointed out, something I've kind of noticed. We'll move on from that. This other chick, unrelated to the park size, the chicks the size of a park, whatever the fuck their names are. There was another woman, rotund. She's like, come with me as I show you what I ate at my day at Disney World. This woman consume, first off, fuck the calories. Let's talk about money. Because we all know that food and drink at amusement parks or any type of like specific place of gathering, a festival, amusement park, theme park, whatever it is going to be expensive. This woman, I'll put up a clip of this too if I can find it. This woman names everything she had done and eaten that day. And someone, it was a total of around like 10,000, 11,000 calories, an insane amount of food. An insane amount of food. And of course she was, hefty. Someone in the comments had mentioned she ate all this and the sun was in the same position. Oh shit, and that's just what she ate at the park. Not what she ate when she left. She probably saw a Culver's or a McDonald's on the way home. Got some food there too. But it's like the mental health thing. And this is why anytime someone brings up mental health to me, I immediately just, whatever. Not because I don't think mental health isn't real. I do believe it's an issue, it's real, it's all that. But I think a lot of people use it as a scapegoat to either A, not deal with their issues or give them an out for issues. Just like a big person saying, oh, I'm this big, thyroid issue. Not counting the fact that you've eaten more calories in a day than some eat in a week. It's not that. No, it's definitely the thyroid issue. No, that's definitely what it is. And then another woman, for some reason my algorithm on Instagram was out to get me this morning. I don't know what the deal was. I was just sitting there seething, just lying there, laughing my ass off, but seething in anger at the same time. Another woman, I forget what her name was, Big and Bold, I think was her name, but she was like 450. I said this on Facebook too. Anyone who tells you, anyone who's a big size, that's a big size, anyone that tells you that they like being that size, they're lying to you. Oh, I'm big and I'm proud. I wouldn't change anything about my body. 100% lie. They're bullshitting you. And you shouldn't trust a person like that. Because if I was a genie and I told these people, I will give you any body you want. Any body you want. I'll snap my fingers and we'll make it happen. Just tell me what you want. I 100% guarantee it would not be the body they have. 100% guarantee. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe it's me. I don't know. This is why women get away with a lot more than men. Because if you're a dude and you're big, they'll just tell you, hey nigga, you fat. Shit, when I blew up, when I was big, before I lost weight, when I was big like 320 in high school, people tell me I'm big now. I was a teenager, I didn't really give a fuck. And then lost the weight. When I started gaining the weight again, my friends were like, hey nigga, you're gaining some of that back, buddy. You might want to calm it down. And now we're getting back down. So, I don't know. I think there's just a different sense of accountability with men than there is women. But I think people in general, man or woman, they just need to start taking accountability for their own shit. So never here talking about you're not happy you're that big. Who are you bullshitting? Who? That's what it is. They're bullshitting themselves into thinking, well, if I tell myself that I like, here's a hot take, but I believe this is also true. Not every parent, but I believe some parents regret having children. They won't tell you that because you're not supposed to say that. That's not the right thing to say. So a lot of people who are in, dire straits, not in the position for kids, they'll mindfuck themselves into saying, yeah, no, this is what I want. I'm so happy we did this. I'm so glad I'm a parent. I got kids. All this shit like that. Would really, if you could go back and never have had your kids, you wouldn't have had them. But you're mindfucking yourself into thinking, no, this is what I want. This is what, and I'm not saying this is every parent. I'm not even saying it's a majority of parents. I'm just saying there's a lot of that I know good and hell well would say that they would go back and not have their kids if they could. But, just something I've noticed. I just want people to stop fucking making excuses and start taking accountability. That's my biggest, two of my biggest pet peeves in life are delusion and the inability to take accountability. Those are my two biggest pet peeves that will just send me flying. I can't handle it. I don't like, there's a third pet peeve too. Lack of humility, I think, is probably the third one. Red Bull break. On a less depressing note, you know what happened. So, When I was a kid, I'd say from single digits to about 12 or 13, I was huge into wrestling. Loved wrestling. Had all the figures, had the ring, had the Titantrons, had everything. Had wrestling themed birthdays, all the shit. Had wrestling shirts, all this stuff. Loved it. Didn't miss an episode ever. Fast forward to, mid-teens, I was just like, I don't know, something happened. I fell out of it. I don't know what it was. Just wasn't really doing it for me anymore. Fast forward to like maybe 2 years ago, I slowly start getting back into it, watching clips here and there. Maybe it's a Survivor Series match. Maybe it's a WrestleMania match. Maybe it's a, whatever it is, some type of clip from a show. Jump to about maybe a month ago, and I'm just finding myself watching everything from where I stopped watching to present day. And I think I'm slowly getting back into wrestling. Now, I don't think I would ever get tickets to go see a wrestling event or, a WrestleMania would be really cool to go to. But, I don't know. There's something really good. I will tell you what I'm very happy that I discovered it, but very sad that I discovered it too late, is Bray Wyatt. His character was cool, but when he did The Fiend, that's top shelf. That is a top shelf character right there. Top shelf. But I suppose it makes sense considering that my favorites up until, favorite character-wise, not favorite wrestlers, just the lore and stuff behind it, was The Undertaker, especially when he went the corporate ministry route. That was dope. When he started speaking Latin in his Titantron entrance and stuff like that. That was dope. Then you had Gangrel, which was Edge, Christian, or not Gangrel. You had the Brood, which was Gangrel, Edge, and Christian, and they played kind of these dark vampires, and they would rise from the stage, and it'd be like a pit of fire surrounding them, and they'd rise up. So you kind of have these, supernatural beings involved in the stuff. So naturally, the Fiend comes by, and he's just as fucking crazy. You know who he reminds me of? When I see him, he reminds me... You guys remember the game Manhunt? Throwback game. It was super controversial when it came out because you could just do the most insane shit. You could, slit a dude's throat. You could suffocate him with a plastic bag. You could, electrocute people. I mean, there's a lot of shit you could do. And, of course, that was a Rockstar game. That's one thing I love about Rockstar. They just don't give a fuck. We need Grand Theft Auto 6 pronto. Anyway, so of course those three characters. So I'm just watching everything and looking up the lore and all that stuff, and I'm pretty good and caught up until the last few months. And it's fun. It's been real fun. It's been a real treat getting back into it after being gone for so long. And I'm a gamer obviously, and I see the games. And I'm like, those games would be fun. I used to play SmackDown on the PlayStation 2. Was it? And then there was one game on the N64. It was like a WCW something or other. That was a really fun game. Also, can we just give a shout out and credit to Sting? I made a post about Sting a while back. That dude never gets his flowers. I know within the world of wrestlers, like hardcore wrestlers, he gets his flowers. He's one of the greats. But when people talk about the greats of wrestling, the other wrestling outfits, I guess, don't really get any shine. When people think wrestling, they think specifically WWE and WWF. They never talk about, TNA or ECW or WCW or ACW or any of the other ones. I'm sure there's those Mexican wrestling circuits where there's just some absolute gods at the sport in those, luchador, libre type, whatever the fucks. But we don't hear about him because it's just something we don't watch, and it's not the big thing here. So, but Sting was great. I loved him. To me, he was kind of like the Stone Cold Steve Austin of WCW. And I know he had a brief stint in the WWE, but he would just show up, fuck shit up, and then just leave. Which I love. I think that's great. I love... That was the good thing about the Stone Cold character. He would just show up. You hear that glass shatter, and you knew someone's day was going to get fucked up. You just... That was all you needed to hear. So, yeah, it's been fun. One thing that irritates the fuck out of me, and I don't know I post certain things on social media, and I'm completely aware of how it looks to other people, whether it be someone in a friend aspect, whether it's someone in a relationship aspect, could be an employer aspect, whatever it is. I understand what I post is really abrasive and it's going to rub people the wrong way. I'm completely cool with that. And this comes down to the accountability thing. You can't do that without the other. You know what I'm saying? What I don't get, and this comes back to women, is a lot of women will post the most just outlandish sexual shit. You know, can't wait to be pinned down and fucked against the faucet. Some weird shit like that. They'll share a status. They'll say that, and then they'll get a bunch of dudes in their inbox talking about, oh, shawty, I wish that was me. Oh, let's get together. We can get together. That can be us. Oh, shit. And then they get pissed off that that type of attention is in their inbox. Like, what did you expect? I don't understand. That would be the equivalent of me posting something about, yep, just came into $20 million. Wish I had someone to go on some trips with. And then people hit me up like, oh, let's go on a trip. And then getting pissed that they hit me up to go on trips with this newfound wealth. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what kind of attention do you want? You can't post certain things and not expect certain things to happen. Now, I know in a utopia you could post whatever you wanted with no repercussion and everything would keep on going. We don't live in a utopia. We live here on Earth. There's repercussions for things that you post. There has to be. I post shit knowing it's going to rub people the wrong way. I've lost friends over what I post. I've gotten into fights over what I post. Whatever it is. But I understand those are the repercussions of what I post. You can't post shit like that and then get upset about the attention that you're getting from what you posted. Oh, it's just a bit of joke. It's just games. First off, let me tell you something, sweetheart. Guys are very linear-minded when it comes to sex and sex-oriented things. Not all. I'll say most guys. You open the doors to crack with sexual energy, a dude's going to see them kick that fucking door down and try to get himself in there. There's just dudes. That's how a lot of brains work. That's how it is. You can't be upset about that. There was a post where a chick, she had posted some just crazy shit, and then she posted some dude in her inbox like, oh yeah, I can't. And then she got pissed off, screenshotted him and posted him up. First off, what are you screenshotting for? What's that doing for you? Secondly, you can't rub the lamp and then refuse to talk to the genie. You can't do that. Oh, Daniel, why can't men just control themselves? Again, if we lived in an ideal society, you would have no problems, but we don't live in a society. We don't. It's like going out with your tits pushed up and looking good, and then you're upset that dudes are looking at you. Now, yeah, should dudes be sexualizing everyone they see? No. I completely, yeah, you should be able to wear whatever you want, but you can't get mad if your tits, which have been synonymized with, sex and sexuality, are attracting the attention of other people. One thing I've noticed about getting older is you notice our parents, okay, now parents is too soon, let's say our grandparents. Grandparents, let's say, that were born, 30s to 50s. You ever look at like the teenage pictures of your grandparents? Or pictures of your grandparents when they were younger and they looked old? They had receding hairlines, they had defined masculine features. The women looked like they'd been housewives for 10 years and they were still in high school. They showed age in a way that we don't show age today. Like we don't show age at all today. Now obviously you can, start showing age by, not taking care of yourself or drug use or heavy drinking, whatever it is. But for the most part, I was in Starbucks the other day and I saw a chick working and I couldn't tell how old she was. I couldn't tell if she was 18, couldn't tell if she was 32. I just couldn't tell. Which sucks because when you're young, like when I was 19, 20, 21, I didn't care how old the chick was because she was either my age or older, which is fine. Now at 33, if I see a chick that's like 21, 20, I'm immediately just like, oh, no. So it's interesting seeing the age process and how it just changes, mentally, how you perceive other things. But I can't tell age worth a fuck at all. There was a TikTok of a chick who said she doesn't like EDM. Fair play. She goes on to say she doesn't like it because she can't stand that over and over again. That'd be more in the techno wheelhouse, not EDM. And then she goes, I can't take it because there's no lyrics to the songs, and you can't tell when one song stops and another one ends. Now, I just know that's completely wrong because I listen to EDM daily, and all the EDM I listen to all has lyrics. There is some, techno and stuff I listen to that doesn't have lyrics, but she said EDM. EDM as a whole is a pretty vocal genre. But it led me to think, one thing that irritates me is people that make an assumption off something but have no idea what they're talking about. Like this chick clearly has no idea what EDM even is if she's talking about that whole, that's like that 1990s, early 2000s techno, like everything electric was techno. That people just assumed it was techno, so that whole, it was irritating. But I also think one thing I don't understand is when people don't like something. People go, "Oh, well, your brain can't pick up on it," or you're just, they make you feel like your brain hasn't developed well enough to understand the like or the ability to like something of that. Whatever it is. And that's also fucking stupid too. Like, you can dislike something, and I talked about this last week. Like, I remember I was trying to watch Rick and Morty, and I just couldn't get into it. I think it's because that main dude's a drunk. And it just irritated me, and I told someone, I was like, yeah, I'm just not a fan of Rick and Morty. And they immediately went to, yeah, it's kind of high intelligence humor. You probably wouldn't get. I'm like, are you kidding me? High intelligence humor? You don't need a fucking a doctorate to understand the fucking show. The humor's not hard to pick up on. I just didn't like it. I don't understand that. Doesn't make any sense. But as I did say last week, also I do like Solar Opposites, which is essentially the same shit. Solar Opposites is a great show. I keep seeing that whole debate on would you rather run into a bear or a man in the woods. And I made a clip about this. This was like maybe a month ago, right before it wasn't even big yet. It was just like in the early stages of going around the web. I made a clip about it. And now it's blowing up, and it irritates the fuck out of me. There's two things that irritate me about it. One, the state of women and how damaged a lot of them must be to what the fuck is that? Oh. And how damaged a lot of women must be to think that would be an option to go with a bear versus a human. Also, it irritates me to think that like you're just painting all dudes with the same brush. That's what you're doing. If I'm choosing the bear 100% of the time. You're painting all dudes with this really weird, malevolent vibe I can assure you, if that was the case, if every dude was just out to just kill and do all types of crazy shit, the world would be a much, much worse off place than it actually is. There's a small handful, a minority, that's very vocal, and we'll replace vocal with active, that do dastardly shit to women, and then somehow that is indicative of the entire race. Just like I said a while back, the problem with the dating scene isn't really a problem. What it is, it's a small minority of women that do stuff, and then that gets blown up, and then it's made indicative for all women. I know there's good women out there. There's loads of good women out there. They're not after, money or anything crazy. I'm aware of that. They're good women. I'm aware of that. Same with this. You women need to understand there are good men out there. There are good men out there. The few you fucked with, or the more that you fucked with, have all done you wrong or done you dirty, or, two-pieced you, or held you in a toilet full of water, whatever it is. That's not all men. But now you're going into these new relationships and these new dating scenarios thinking that all men are the same. And yeah, I'm choosing the bear because the bear I know isn't going to try to... It's like, you know what? Let's go out to the jungle sometime. We'll find a bear. And we'll put you in the middle between the bear and me. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Anyway, Let's do some questions really quick here. Okay, now this is an interesting one because I just had this conversation with someone this morning. What are your thoughts on what happens after death? I think that's just it. I think that's it. I don't think there's any reincarnation. I don't think there's a transfer of energy other places. I was talking to a chick this morning, and she said she believes in reincarnation. But reincarnation, if you're talking about humans being reincarnated into other humans, then wouldn't you just have the same number of humans? It would just kind of recycle, and you'd have the same number. When one dies, another one's born. One dies, one's conceived, and that conceived one is the one that just died over it. I don't know, you just have the same. Now if we're talking reincarnated into like a squirrel, that'd be a more believable thing. I don't believe in reincarnation at all, but I'd be able to believe you're reincarnated as like a cow or something like that, or come back as like a pigeon. I don't know. But yeah, I just think that's it. I think you're in the ground, that's lights out. It'd be dope if there was some type of afterlife or something like that. But people say, oh, well, energy doesn't stop, it gets transferred. And it stops. Car hitting a wall. Once that car hits the wall, that was energy. The energy's done now. That's crazy. All right. Would you rather be sexually attracted to an inanimate object and nothing else, or register yourself as a sex offender? If I didn't live next to a school, yeah, register me as a sex offender because I can still be attracted to non-inanimate objects. But being as there's a school right behind me, oddly called Perkins Academy, no relation, that'd mean I'd have to move. And I like Beaverdale. Beaverdale's cool. Sexually attracted to an inanimate object. No. Those stories are fucking hilarious, though. You guys ever see that clip of that lady? She fell in love with that roller coaster, or she fell in love with that amusement park ride. Every now and again when I need to pick me up, I'll watch that clip. And the thing was like dripping oil, and she's rubbing in the oil, and she's like caressing the bottom of like the metal, and she goes, "You know what I'm thinking right now? Oh, you don't even want to know what's on my mind."
I'm thinking, oh geez, you know what I'm thinking about. This is very personal. When I make love to him at home, when I start climaxing, I just keep saying over and over again, just as I'm starting to go over the edge, I just tell him, I want your fluids, I want your fluids, I want your fluids.
I'm like, lady, there was that one dude who had like a Chevy Lumina or something like that, fell in love with his car. Then there was that one guy, he had floaties. It was like blow-up dolls. It wasn't even blow-up dolls, it was like floaties, like in a pool. It was like a penguin and there was like a giraffe, and he fell in love with those. That's a mental thing. There's something off there. I notice it's never the football captain. It's never the cheerleader. It was never the jock. It was never the puppet. It's always people that were considered backseat to other people from like high school and childhood that grew up to do these weird things. It's something I've noticed. But you know what, folks? I'm going to land the plane there. I appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, comment, talk shit in the comments, talk shit to me, say whatever you want to do. That's fine. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. You guys have a good one.